I had a few incidents that stand out while living on a ranch in Texas. It was heavily wooded, and the ranch was family owned, with several houses on it. One night while driving home, I caught two somewhat dim red lights out of the corner of my eye, shining in the darkness from where the family member's empty house was. They didn't live there full time on the ranch, but had a mobile home they'd stay at when they did. At first I thought it was just a cell tower or something reflecting off, but I looked behind me and I realized there were no cell towers behind me. They're over to the left. When I turned around, the red lights were gone. I walked closer to the house until I was on their deck looking in the window where I saw the lights, and I saw them again, shining through the window on the other side of the mobile home. There was an adjacent window I was looking at. I was looking through the house into the woods behind it, and there were still two red lights. We're probably about 40 feet into the woods and like 2 feet off the ground. I went around the house and didn't see them. I walked to where I thought I saw the lights and looked around. Seeing nothing, I waited for a minute or two and then started to walk back. But then I turned around to go check once more. I saw the red lights again. Same distance from the ground, but like 30 feet away from the last time I saw them. I shined my phone light towards it, but it didn't reach. The lights shined both when I shined my light and when no lights were on it. It wasn't like animal eyeballs that reflected the light. It looked like it was emanating light, and I started walking towards the light, and 1 second they were there, and the next they were gone. Up until this point, I hadn't been creeped out. It was more like mild curiosity. But when I saw that, I got the sense that I was either being lured or followed by something that did not want to be followed, and got really creeped out and returned to my car. I saw them again like a week or two later, this time shining from the side of my cousin's house instead of the window. Once again, I got out and checked after leaving my car. I didn't see anything. Around this time, I started getting really bad anxiety at nighttime. I felt like something was out there, and it wasn't friendly towards me. Normally, anxiety is not an issue for me, and this came on with a vengeance. I started using something to help with it. It was just a couple of pills, but even that barely touched the fear when I'd go outside. I started having sleep paralysis episodes for the first time in a couple of years. They first started after a near-death experience from carbon monoxide poisoning. Had them almost every night for the first week, and then it started petering out to the next several months. And these new episodes were terrifying in a way that only the first episode was. During these ones, in the first one, I would be awakened by a loud, incredibly deep-sounding boom, and I'd see an entity in the shape of fog, mist covering my ceiling, radiating evil and malevolence towards me. I have experienced much fear since I was a child, but these episodes can only describe with absolute panic-inducing terror. Then the fog and mist would attack me, attempting to drill and claw its way in through the barriers of my mind. The only thing that I could do was pray, which, even though I'm not really religious, was raised that way though, would actually help really well and quickly. Still though, it was hard to go back to sleep. Another time I had returned home from work and was in my trailer. I was just dicking around on my phone while the sun went down when it felt like someone slammed into my door and yanked the handle back, which made a distinct slapping noise, but the door was deadbolted. Even though the handle was not locked, It shook my whole trailer. I jumped about a foot in the air and ran outside with the gun in about 2 seconds flat, only to find nothing. I was creeped out enough, and certainly enough that something had tried to open my handle. I called my nearest cousin and asked for somebody to come help me look around. Well, I didn't see anything, and my cousin's husband didn't see anything with a thermal scope. And we kind of figured it was maybe a bird. Bird makes the most sense, but it doesn't explain the slapping of the door handle. I've had birds run into this trailer twice. I've been home for both. There's a huge difference in the sound and the impact. And the birds either dead or got carried off by something, or were stunned. But I saw the birds both of those times. And with how hard it hit, I would think it would at least have been stunned long enough that I'd have seen it. This happened 3 more times in the next couple of months. I stopped going to investigate after the second time this happened. One night, I was having dinner with my cousin's family and talking to one of them alone on their deck when she started asking me something without actually asking. If I had seen anything weird lately. Now, up to then, I hadn't really thought of these events being connected, but when she started this weird line of questioning, I started thinking about all of these things that had been happening over the last couple of months. I admitted that I had been weirded out by a few things, and I told her about the red lights. She seemed really freaked out by this. The only thing she told me was she thought something had come here, and then insisted that we should talk about it. I pressed a little, but she was not having it, so I quit pushing. After that, I kind of started to think something was out there, and I started doing this thing to help me feel better. I'm not sure where I got the idea, but I started picturing myself in my mind's eye, and I'd see darkness around me, and I'd push out a light over my head that the darkness couldn't enter, drive back the darkness even further. When I did, I'd feel the same way as they did in The Lord of the Rings. If you know, you know. Chills would go through me, and I felt immensely powerful, but it took energy to do this. And afterwards, I'd be tired but still felt safe. I'm normally not into this kind of woo-woo shit, and I don't even know why I would do that. But it really helped. I also took a cat in around that time, and the first time I had sleep paralysis with him there, I heard the boom and woke up. Like normal, I saw the fog, mist, and just as I could feel the terror welling inside, my cat leaped onto my chest and snapped me out of my paralysis and the hallucinations. I think it happened 2 or 3 more times, and every time, my cat would almost immediately wake me up by jumping on me. Between those 2 things, the weirdness started to fade. I'll freely admit that all of these have rational explanations, but the way it came together and the way I could kind of affect it leaves me with mixed feelings. I know you asked for Skinwalker stories, and there's not much in it that really screams a Skinwalker specifically, but I do think it's Skinwalker adjacent. It was a really weird time in my most otherwise based in reality life, and I think most of it can be explained as my mind playing tricks on me, but it felt real, very real at the time, and I've otherwise been good at controlling myself to impose this fear, if that really makes sense. I've been trying to keep my head straight, and it seems like it's actually working. I just hope it stays that way. Thanks for watching, I really hope you enjoyed it. If you lasted to the end of this video, I've actually got something pretty cool to tell you. So today I was asked to help narrate on somebody else's channel. I'm definitely excited about it. This is actually going to be my first collaboration. I think you guys are really going to like it, so when it does come out, I will let you know. And make sure to keep checking the community posts. And also, if you wouldn't mind, to help the channel growth, make sure to subscribe and like and comment, and tell me how you felt about these stories. If you want to, leave a suggestion in the comment section as well of something that you would like to hear. Other than that, stay safe, stay scary, and I'll see you in the next one.